Oh boy. I can see a lot of people being very, very angry and upset with PlayStation with the Sony State of Play that has just released. And people, I've been going around, I've been seeing the comments, and I got to give you my thoughts on this because ultimately, I got to keep it a buck. I don't think it was that good. I don't think it was pretty good. I don't think it was good. This is probably one of the only times I'll say this. Sony, you guys got to do better, man. You give Microsoft bad credit with the presentations, but they're actually hitting their margins when they're actually doing the reveals. But this Sony State of Play, it wasn't it. We got to talk about it. Okay, people. First off, we're just going to go over what we actually seen, what actually came out, or actually is going to be coming out later this year in 2025 for this freaking trailers. And I got to say, people, this thing is not that good to me. It really isn't, man. So let's go down the list and we'll see and knock out all this stuff and we'll see what's going on for real. And we'll see what's going on for real. First one that I want to talk about here, Concord. Concord. This game is going to get scrutinized heavily. Okay, for transparency, when I saw Concord, I thought it was going to be a space adventure game with the crew, kind of like Mass Effect and Starfield. But then I figured out midway, hey, this is a multiplayer game. I didn't know that. But then again, that's my fault. I didn't do a lot of research for it. I take the blame for that 100%. But I do like the space aspect of this game. It's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, pretty much. That's what I kind of thought it was going to be. But it's going to that same vein of live service games, going into like Valorant, Overwatch, stuff like that changes the world later on, doing multiplayer things. Come on, people. The game honestly reminds me of Destiny. And I love Destiny. Destiny 1, Destiny 2. I'm going to be playing the Final Shape at some point. It's pretty much fun to me. In this vein and day and age, honestly, there's probably too much live service games. I get it, people. I understand why they want their live service games. Sony right now needs their cash cow. They really do. Since they canceled their other live service games, this was one of the ones that wasn't canceled back then. We know this. The presentation looks solid enough, but I'm different from other people. I like this thing because it ticks my boxes. Because of space, shooting, is kind of like Destiny kind of gameplay. That's what I like. What I didn't like, it was a live service game. That threw me off guard. I should have done my research. And according to this, they've been acquired by Sony PlayStation. They've been acquired. SIE, they got them now, which is pretty good. You know, you can take what they have here in the developers to make something else later down the line, but ultimately Sony needs to be getting acquired these studios so it will go to Microsoft's hands and they can be independent and you can go third party and stuff like that. But ultimately, acquisition good. This game is a bit iffy. It really is. I know I don't bring up these kind of things on my videos. There was one thing about the character roster, you know what I'm talking about? And it's about this. I saw that, people. I understand while people are trying to force feed this narrative, hey, you got to add these strong women, you got to add a lot of diversity in your games. Add stuff in games that you think is correct. That's all you got to do. For me, I don't get bothered by that kind of stuff because it doesn't affect the gameplay, a character's skin tone, being an alien race, man, woman, none of that. That stuff doesn't bother me at all. It really doesn't. Only care about the games, but I can see right now that right there is gonna bug a lot of people. When I saw it, I was like, yo, honestly, they said, hey, they got one white man and they got 5 black women, a robot, and some other stuff. Hey, listen, if it's on my radar for talking about it, you know something is messed up because I don't talk about none of that. So I was like, ooh, when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, people gonna have a field up with this. I can already see the headlines. They're erasing us, you know, that kind of thing. But we're here to talk about that. That's not my kind of content. And we'll probably never talk about this again unless there's some severe controversy. So after Concord, let's go with this one. God of War Ragnarok for PC. God of War Ragnarok on PC is very, very expected. The game came out. It did bang numbers. Some people say it wasn't as good as the original, but we know now when this game comes to PC, it's the final product for this God of War title. We got my hammer over there, my Mega Mjolnir. It is what it is. I love God of War Ragnarok. Check out some of my gameplay on my channel. Pretty fun. And it's coming with the free DLC pack that's in there, Valhalla, which is amazing, impeccable. It gives you a look at what happens after God of War Ragnarok, dealing with Kratos, dealing with his demons, per se. Going into what's going to be, how should I say, whatever the next God of War is, pretty good and solid. Another title, see, of course, up here, Astrobot. I know I talked about it briefly. I'm extremely excited about Astrobot. Like, listen, when the PS5 came out, Astrobot was one of the games that's like, hey, this is really, really good. This is really, really cool. Use the power. A good platformer for a PlayStation game, that's a good time for me. And next, some of these things, this is where it goes a bit downhill. Those right there are some of the titles that I like and I enjoy. And this is when I start getting rid of some marks. Until Dawn. Until Dawn is finally coming to PlayStation, PS5, Enhanced, PC. Honestly, to me, this is pretty much a waste of time. To me, it was a waste of time. You don't need to have this in a PlayStation showcase if it's going to become PC. We've already seen the game. We really have. This did not belong in the showcase. You could have put this in a blog, put it in Summer Games Fest, unless they have some other titles in there. To me, this is a waste of space and waste of time. And not to mention, Concord was like 6 or 7 minutes of that state of play. And once that thing hit, we knew they didn't have nothing cooking. We knew it. Waste of time. Skydance's Behemoth gameplay reveal. This game has some potential, ultimately. So, but then again, I don't have PSVR 2. I don't. It looks good. It does look good to add, it does look good to get that itch of VR. New VR titles is what it's in right now. Some kids like VR. I'm not really a VR kind of thing. I don't want to deal with motion sickness and stuff like that. So let's give it a little header, because if you guys don't know, watch the trailer. Skydance's Behemoth is the next monumental offering for PSVR 2 and its follow-up effort for award-winning Walking Dead Sinners and Saints. If you guys know Sinners and Saints, now, it is the first-person action-adventure VR title launching in the fall that combines brutal physics, hand-to-hand combat, and player traversal, environmental puzzle solving, and larger-than-life boss battles. Hey, that sounds like a good time. But you need to see more gameplay with this, because this may not be for everybody. Not a lot of people doing with the melee combat with the bow. Is that all you guys can do? But the scenery looks awesome. Snow dealing with monsters, stuff like that, enemies. Pretty cool to me. After the Exile, port to PS5. Again, not my style of game, but in this day and age, this is up people's alley. Top-down game, early access later this year, co-op with friends. Steep learning curve that I'm hearing. I know it's a state of play. I don't like these kind of games. I'm gonna knock it off. It's gonna get the score lower. That's just me. Hey, I gotta be honest with you. Monster Hunter Wilds, one of the best things. Unexpected. I thought it was gonna be a Summer Games Fest. Didn't think it was gonna be in the PS5 state of play. But I gotta see more gameplay. We know the animations looked rough. The textures is kind of off. There was some clipping. That's just how this game is still early. We know they're gonna improve, because Capcom right now, they're dealing with a lot of polish. They're doing good. They got my vote. I'm gonna be playing this game with my homeboys. Hey, get the boys back in. The boys is back in town. Us four, let's go. This here is pretty good. Man, I was irritated when I saw Silent Hill 2. I've never played the original Silent Hills that much. I remember I rented it at Hollywood Video, Blockbuster time. I think it was Blockbuster still around then. It was probably Hollywood Video around here. Yeah, Hollywood Video, if you guys know this. I want a southern chain. Either way, I like the look of this. Initially, back when we saw a Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards, whenever we originally saw that, this right here, this is looking rough, buddy. I'm sorry. Something about it is not hitting right. I don't know what it is. Is it the character models? Is it the combat? I don't know. I gotta probably delve with this into another video. I don't know what this is. Like, since I don't know that much about the original Silent Hill 2, I don't know. To me, this is kind of jarring. It seems like it's an upscale reimagining of the original, supposedly. I don't know if there's gonna be any new kind of stuff like that. It's a remake. I don't know, man. I'll probably play it, but it left a bad taste in my mouth for some reason. You know what I'm saying? Alien Rogue Incursion. Again, VR title. Not a lot of people adopted PSVR 2. Sales was dwindling, but they have these things coming out for the people that actually bought it. You want to waste $600, because pretty much when it came in, it cost just as much as the PS5. It really did. These are for enthusiasts. A good horror game for VR is what people like. Cool. Not for me. I give it another bump because I'm not really a VR 2 guy. Marvel Rivals. Again, another Overwatch clone. I like it because it has these characters. Fun. But live service style, There's too many of these. There is way too many of these titles, man. Sony's freaking focus on going in a live service and bumping some off for what Bungie did. Hey, that's not for me. I'm not a fan of that. Really not. I like it because it's this. Ultimately, we didn't need to see this here. We don't. The average PlayStation enthusiast, they don't care about this. Neither do I. To be honest with you. I like this, but for a PlayStation Showcase, it's not it for me. Dynasty Warriors Origins looks cool. I like the setting and stuff. Shouldn't be at the PlayStation Showcase. Summer Games Fest. Like I said, my tagline, it is what it is. Looks decent, but I don't see a lot of people playing Musou games anymore. It seems like a Switch kind of thing. You know how like Nintendo Switch up The Legend of Zelda and all the other kind of things? I knew about this before it came out. This was leaked. Now, I'm not really a fan. Ballad of Inatara. For reference, people, I'm not trashing on a lot of PlayStation stuff because it's not for me. This looks decent. I like the scenery of the game. It looks pretty cool to me. I need to see more. Everything was a bit early development, of course. Textures pop in the usual because when you look at these things, you go look through these things because it was pretty much a sizzle reel. I don't know what the game's truly going to be. I'm interested to see where it is because it's a fantasy. Pretty cool. Infinity Mickey. This game won for me, dog. This is for a certain demographic of people that I'm not familiar with. Not for me. Of course, it's set in the West. You know, China game. Reminded me of Wolong Dynasty, Mysterious. I need to see more. I probably won't pick this up because I didn't like Wolong that much. Neo vibes. Not really a fan, but I see where they're going with this. I can see this thing becoming a classic, a hit. So here we go, people. Like, honestly, it seems like like I said earlier, it seems like I'm trashing on this a lot. I'm not trying to trash on this state of play, but we got to keep with the facts. This isn't what people wanted to see. This isn't what people wanted. People wanted to see third-party games come for Sony. They wanted to see first-party output. And then stayed in the Summer Games Fest, you see these other titles. You know, additional gameplay and stuff. CGI engines. Because some of this stuff was sizzle reels and CGI engines. It was. We'll have to go elsewhere. I'm pretty sure there's something else coming down the road. We're going to see gameplay for some of these games. Of course. That's fine. But for this instance, this isn't what we wanted. People want a PlayStation 5 showcase. What's coming next year and what's coming this year. This had some of those inklings. But ultimately, it didn't hit. It really wasn't what they wanted. Me included. Even though I did my research and stuff, but this time I went blind. I didn't do no research before watching this. I didn't. Because I was like, you know what? I trusted Sony to deliver. Hey, you guys got my vote. You guys got my purchase. I trust you to do what you want to do. I trust you. But upon seeing this, live service games, stuff not built for me. Hey man, I know the Sony formula. They're going in a different direction because they said they have to be more strategic with their money. And we can probably see this here with more of these live service titles and venturing off into these other things, building their own franchise. Hey man, if you're reconstruction and stuff, I'm all for it. But in the immediate future, if this is what we have to be looking forward to, I don't know, man. Well, we got Summer Games Fest next because this month is going to come out with all these other stuff, all these different showcases. I'm not going to cover them all, but we'll talk about a little bit. Sony does have more stuff cooking because if this is what's in the state of play, what's that Summer Games Fest? Or are they going to go back to back and say, hey, PlayStation 5 showcase later down the road? Because I remember I was talking about in one of my past videos, supposedly there's a PS5 showcase in September. That's where we're going to get some of the bigger titles. We didn't see Wolverine. We didn't see some of these rumored space. I want to see this rumored space game from Sony Santa Monica. Hey man, if you guys got some information on that, tell me, please. I love space games, man. It's so cool to me. But it wasn't here in the state of play. Knowing me, I know it's going to be shown later down the road. And this technically wasn't the place for it. It really wasn't. So ultimately, what I give the grade for the state of play, I give it a D, high D, low C. That's the official grade I'm going to get it. It could have been better, but they could be saving their stuff down for along the road. It didn't hit, man. It is what it is. All right, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, peace for some more gaming content.